I'm Dean Wright. I'm here with Ron Judd today to talk about the Citizens Agenda approach to covering elections in Cascadia Daily News.
I'm not sure who invented the actual Citizens Agenda, but Jay Rosen, a media professor at NYU, has really propagated it, right?
That's true. He's also been very articulate about the need for journalists to cover elections, as he puts it, covering not the odds, but the stakes. What does it mean if a particular candidate wins rather than who's likely to win? And he has cited the Citizens Agenda approach, which I believe has been done in Charlotte Observer has done it, other newspapers have done it. And how's it worked for us here at CDN?
I think it's worked really well for us, and the core of the project, which is adapted by a lot of different news organizations in different ways for different reasons, all follows the same core principle, which is that the idea is to crowdsource election issues, so that we're asking candidates about the same subjects that our readers/voters are interested in and things they want to know about. So we put out a prompt, which is the prompt that everybody that uses this program shares, which is the question to the public is, what do you want candidates to be talking about as they campaign for votes in this election? And our readers have responded really well to that question and have responded better every year. We get somewhere between 100 and 200 questions submitted by the public after we remind them or nag them of this many times leading up to the election. And we take that giant list of questions and clean it up a little bit and narrow it down. And we put those back out to the readers and publish them in the print version of Cascadia Daily News and online, and ask people to vote on their top 5 or top 10, depending on the scope of the election. And they've done that every year. And some of the questions have been really, really well articulated and things that we probably would have included in our election coverage on our own, some of them, but not quite in the same way. And there's some other ones that were kind of surprised us. I always remind people that it's not the entirety of our election coverage. It sets a basis for the questions we're going to ask candidates and the things that we will use. We also use the questions and candidates' responses to those questions as the basis for our endorsement decisions that are made by our separate CDN editorial board.
And how have the candidates responded to the Citizens Agenda process?
They've responded pretty well. I think some of them appreciate the fact that the questions are not just things that we are coming up with on our own, because they tend to get those from everybody, the same questions from everybody. They respond with varying degrees of specificity to the questions. When we ask them, they buck against the idea of answering a complicated question in 150 words, which is what we give them for our voter guide. But then we invite them here to our studio, as it is, to expand on those thoughts. And we've gotten a pretty good response. There have been a few candidates who don't want to be part of that process. And so our response to that is to publish the questions in our voter guide with a blank space and no answer.
Yeah, democracy really depends on candidates who are willing to put themselves out there, and importantly, on having an aggressive press that is covering them and an informed electorate. So this has been a great change, I think, in the way elections are covered, certainly locally. And I think we're starting to see some of the results of that from the way readers have responded.
Yeah. And it's been really well received by the public, I would say. People really responded and appreciated feeling like they were heard, and that, the questions they have were asked by us. They can't ask the questions themselves of candidates. We can demand their presence here to some degree, and we are very eager and willing to take on that role of being a surrogate for the public to go with the questions that, and some of them are really tough questions, and there aren't easy answers. And putting it out before the public and hearing the different responses of different candidates to the same set of questions, I hope really makes an educated decision by a voter easier. They may decide for completely different reasons to vote for another candidate based on the same question, based on their own thoughts and preferences, but that's really what we're looking to do.
Well, thanks, Ron, and I hope that readers appreciate the Citizens Agenda approach and look at it online and in print.
Yes, thanks for everybody who's participated, and we'll keep it going.